welcome back. Boston has a 2-1 lead over Carolina, trying to go up 3-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals of the NHL. Carolina at home, much need a win. It's a physical game. And at this point, Brad Marchand, you may not like him, but he's a good player. He's got the game leading goal at this point, 2-1. Also, we had the NBA draft lottery. And, Paul, it came down to the New Orleans Pelicans winning it, which means the Zion sweepstakes. You would assume he's going to get that, although I think Ja Moritz is a pretty good player. I love guards. If you're watching the Western Conference Finals, you'll notice both teams have really good guards. Guards are very important. I know everyone believes it'll be Zion Williamson. I have two questions for you. Should it be over him? Moritz can shoot from all over. He reminds me of Steph Curry. And number two, will Anthony Davis reconsider staying in New Orleans now?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is if they have Anthony Davis, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you draft Zion Williamson or you take the guard? I would probably take the guard.
Well, it depends on what Anthony Davis is going to do. He has 1 year left.
But that's what I'm saying. If you talk to Anthony Davis and say, listen, we're going to add a really, really good player here.
Right.
If we do, will you sign an extension? If he says no, I think you trade him and you draft Zion Williamson. But to me, if you could get, Morant, I mean, to me, and you add him to Anthony Davis,
yeah, that's
all of
pretty
a sudden
good.
that team's pretty good.
Let's go out to Waylon. Waylon, you there in Washington?
Yes, I sure am, Bob.
Good.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Paul.
Hey.
Hope you guys are well.
Thank you.
I hate to, hit the drum, but like this John Daly stuff, like 2 weeks ago, I thought, well, like I wonder if he's going to even get in the PGA, and now he's doing this stuff. I mean, this is like crazy, Here's Tiger Woods saying that stuff. It's quite an episode. Any comment?
Well, the comment is, so far I haven't heard one golfer that I've interviewed who defended John Daly. I think they all don't want to go in that area. Daly, and thanks, Waylon, for the call, I think is a draw. They know that at the PGA. I think if this were another golfer that nobody realized and petitioned for the same exact reason, the answer would be no. I think they did this for a lot of different reasons. And but again, it's to me, a debilitating injury is something that you're born with, that but even so, he had to go Casey Martin all the way to the Supreme Court.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't as if golf was going to let him until he had to take it all the way to the top.
I mean, again, every athlete comes to a point where their body breaks down.
Right.
So, unfortunate. And I'll give you another guy. Doesn't Phil Mickelson have like rheumatoid arthritis or some kind of really, bad? Well, why doesn't he get a cart? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
he believes that you have to walk. And
I agree that, but I'm just saying.
Right.
To me, if he had a cart, maybe he'd have won another tournament or two.
I agree.
Where his arthritis flared up.
I hear a lot of people on Twitter, tell me, well, what possibly can a difference be just hitting a golf ball? I said, well, the difference is if you've played, it is a grueling, Paul. You've played in long events. When you play 4 straight days. Now, the sun and the heat won't be a factor this week because they moved the event, but typically in August, it wears you down. And I think it also affects your mind. It affects your swing. You get tired. You're not as crisp. So it does become an advantage.
You're essentially walking for 5 hours, 4 straight days.
Right. And making big shots under a lot of pressure.
Exactly. But to me, it absolutely wears guys down. And you see, I mean, Tiger Woods, when he was going through it with his back, there would be some tournaments, Thursday, Friday, he's hitting the ball well. By Saturday, the second half of the round, now is starting to tighten up, and then Sunday he can't hit the ball.
Right.
And that's a big part of it.
No doubt. Let's go out to Maryland in Munhall. Maryland, you're up next. Go right ahead.
Hi, you've answered some of my questions about John Daly. Why wasn't this adjudicated within the PGA? Why did it have to go to the Supreme Court?
No, we're talking about Casey Martin went to the Supreme Court. The PGA had a meeting on their board, and they decided to let Daly play. So this didn't go anywhere beyond their own board of directors. Thank you for the call, though. We appreciate it. Line 3. I don't know. Is line 3 there? I think he might have hung up, John. I don't know. It was RJ in Somerset. RJ, call us back if we disconnected by some reason. 412-575-2600 is that number. As far as the NBA, I look at the series here, Portland versus Golden State. There's no Kevin Durant, and I actually think Golden State is better. And I love Durant. He gives them a whole different element. But I think because he's not there, the Splash Brothers, Thompson and Curry, getting back to doing what they've done before. 2016 version of Golden State.
They really move the ball well now.
Yeah,
and all
fundamentally
that stuff. I
real
mean,
good.
it's good. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is they move the ball, and there's not a ball stopper. And again, Durant is fantastic. Let's not.
He is. I'm not saying that.
My
but
point is, when he's not there, there's not that ball stopper that wants to, be ball dominant and shoot.
Right. So that's what you get with that team. And the Eastern Conference, now it's going to be interesting to see Milwaukee against Toronto. I've never seen a shot like Kawhi Leonard put up. I never saw anything like that. That bounced 4 times on the rim.
That was
Actually,
fun.
I thought that was as well defended as Philadelphia could have expected.
Absolutely.
Right? That's a low percentage shot, isn't it?
It was, and what are you going to do? The ball bounced around the rim 19 times and went in. I mean, you tip your cap and you move on, basically.
You do. All right, Lion, why don't we go? It's Tom in Edgewood. Tom, welcome to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that the PGA is not concerned about attendance at this event. They're going to admit 60,000 per day for that event, so that's not even an issue.
Well, television ratings are. Television ratings are.
Your comments last night about his drinking issues and maybe bringing a six-pack with them on the card were uncalled for.
No, I mean, it's what John Daly has done. He does it in pro-ams. He does it all the time. I've played with him when he's had a six-pack in there. And I was saying that kiddingly more than anything else.
Mystic Rock or something like that.
Right. But I've seen it at the 84 Lumber Golf Classic.
You understand that's what endears him to fans.
Absolutely.
He's an every guy's guy. He smokes.
He'd be the first to tell you this, by the way.
He drinks. You know what I mean? That's what everybody likes about him. And the thing about it is they're going to sell tickets, but he's still a draw. You know what I mean? When you have another big name like him in the field, it's better for the field.
Plus, like this situation now will attend, people will write about it, watch it, and I think it affects TV ratings as well. I'm not saying that's the real reason. I think, I think being politically correct has something to do with this also. But the danger with that is, as we said, when you're talking about major sports, whether it's this, whether it's football, basketball, anything else, your body, as you get older, and he's 53 years old, is going to have issues. So you shouldn't be making exceptions for people. You got to play through that stuff. And I think Tiger's answer was spot on.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the back injuries that Tiger has gone through and fought through, I mean, at some point, isn't that a condition?
It is, but he would never consider saying, hey, I need someone to drive me around because I can't bend over. Also, can you have someone tie my shoes because I can't bend over? He's not going to do that, and I don't think, anyway, let's go to Joe in Saxonburg. What's up, Joe? How are you?
Hey, good, Bob. I just wanted to know who your pick was to win the tournament this week.
Oh, man. I'm going to tell you who I'm going to go with, just because somebody's going to always ask, and I have an answer ready, but I think it's going to be Rory McIlroy. I really think there's so many guys. I mean, you could pick anyone, 20. I say that about every golf tournament, right? Who would you pick?
I liked Rory myself, too.
Yeah, he's been playing. I think if you look at his season, he's been in top 10s most every one of the things he's entered. And, Brooks Koepka, thanks for the call. Paul, I mean, you could put 20 guys in this conversation right now.
I'm going to go with another guy that bombs the ball, who has actually had quietly a very good year, Jason Day.
He has.
And he crushes the ball. Look, this is going to play, 7,700 yards or something like that?
But the rough is really diabolical. You better be straight.
Exactly. You got to hit it straight, but if you hit it far, you have a big advantage in this tournament.
Yeah, Max Homa just won. First-time winner. We saw the guy from Korea win. And he's another guy who hits it straight. Who knows? It's wide open. It should be fun to watch.
Dustin Johnson hits it a mile.
Yeah, he's due to have a better event.
Hey, Brooks Koepka. I mean, there's another guy.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with more. It's 412-575-2600 right here on Pittsburgh CW.